Well, Shannon Purser, I would love to know, last summer when Stranger Things first streamed on Netflix, how long after that did your life change?
Wow. Maybe a couple weeks. I think, yeah, we had no idea that the show would take off the way that it did. I mean, I think we all had this kind of inner confidence that it was going to do well. But then the whole world just latched onto it. And I was so excited. I'm like, wow, I got to be a part of this really popular, wonderful show. And then maybe like 2, 3 weeks after it aired on Netflix, um, people started like flooding my Twitter and my Instagram and saying like, what happened to Barb? Oh my God, I'm so angry. And it was so weird. I mean, amazing, obviously, but so unexpected. I didn't think anybody would really care too much about me. So it was definitely a wild time.
And of course, this is your first big role, which is even more impressive. That you got an Emmy nomination for it. You have like an action figure for Barb. All of
Yeah.
these for your first role. What is that like?
Overwhelming. I think, I don't know. I just feel, so grateful. Actors are coming up to me a lot and saying, this isn't normal, right? And I'm like, yes, I know. I know how weird this is. And yeah, I don't know. It definitely kind of puts a little pressure. Like I kind of have to live up to this amazing thing that's just happened to me. But I'm also just really thankful because acting is what I've wanted to do since I was a little kid. And I think there's always kind of that insecurity, that maybe people won't think you're as good as you think you are. And so it's just been really encouraging to kind of be validated in that way.
When you first signed on for the role, how much did you know about where your destination was going to be?
No idea. I didn't really know anything. I don't think they even sent me the first script when I auditioned, just a couple of sides for Barb. And so, yeah, I knew that it was like about a boy who got missing, who went missing, and about his group of friends that went to try and find him. And that was really all I knew. So I remember going to the table read and reading all the scripts and finally figuring out like what the show was actually about and just falling in love with it. And yeah, I actually didn't know the fate of Barb until like halfway through, when I was shooting. And then my makeup artist was just like, okay, we want you to come over so we can test some makeup looks for like your death scene. And I was like, no, but it was so much fun. So I don't regret any of it.
In the specific episode that we're at the Emmys is Holly Jolly, and that's the one where Barb is in the Upside Down, and she's finally dragged down by the Demogorgon. What was it
Yep.
like shooting that big scene, that climactic scene for her?
So much fun. That was actually my favorite day of shooting, and it was my last day on set for Stranger Things also. So yeah, I don't know. I remember, it's funny because I also auditioned with that scene. So I remember at the beginning of the process, I came in and read for the Duffer Brothers, and they wanted me to do that scene. So I'm like screaming at the top of my lungs in this tiny room with the Duffer Brothers, and it was such a weird moment. So it definitely felt, better to not be like sitting in a small room and actually like on this incredible set that they built. Um, but it was so much fun. Sean Levy was directing that episode, and I just really love and admire him and his work. He knew exactly what he wanted, and the set was so incredible. And yeah, it was I think my favorite day.
We've been doing Emmy predictions and Emmy discussions pretty much this whole century. I do not recall a time when you were like a baby when we first started doing this, but I don't recall a time on our site, and I would look at other sites where people were just, the last few weeks before Emmy nominations, they were just demanding that you get in. I mean, there was such an outcry for you to get an Emmy nomination. Did you kind of feel that, and do you feel like that helped with voters in terms of making sure that they were aware of maybe voting for you?
Yeah, I I'm just really blown away by the amount of like passion that kind of surrounds this character. You know, I think that she's very much a sort of quintessential outcast, sort of misunderstood teenager. And I think a lot more people than I anticipated related to that, and really felt like they'd been wronged when she was just gone and nobody really bothered to see if she was okay. So yeah, it has been really interesting. I mean, people like tweeting at the brothers and at Sean, like, bring her back, or at Netflix. And it's like, wow, there's kind of this little army that's surrounded me, and it definitely blows me away.
And the show is so much about uplifting these outcast characters and you know, giving them an opportunity to be heroic even when they're not the most popular kids. How much did you think about that during the making of the show and creating this Barb character?
I don't know. I think there wasn't really a lot in the script to read about Barb. I think, you know, the description was like something to the degree of Barb, awkward, bookish, and like nerdy. And that was really all I had to go on. And so, I mean, I think that also speaks to the talent of the Duffer Brothers and to Sean for their direction, with kind of sort of so little to go on from the script itself. But yeah, I don't know. I think I really just related to Barb a lot, and I know a lot of people did. I think I definitely remember those times in high school where I was stuck at a party that I definitely did not want to be at, or when I was a third wheel. You know, I think everybody's experienced that kind of awkward, uncomfortable situation where you just feel like you don't belong. And so I think it was really important to me that Barb not be this stereotypical figure, but be a real and complex human being. So I kind of just pulled from, you know, my own high school experience for her.
You mentioned before, you know, people tweeting and everybody wanting, you know, find some way to have you back. Are you even part of season 2? Can you even say?
I know that Barb is going to be somewhat of a theme because the Duffer Brothers have promised me that there will be justice for Barb in season 2. But I wasn't involved in the making of season 2 now. So I'm just as, you know, I'm just waiting to be surprised, just like everybody else.
Would you, you know, in the future, you know, if we ever have an opportunity to flesh out the Barb character and maybe a flashback or something like that, is that something you'd be interested in doing at some point?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Stranger Things is everything I love about television. I think the cast is incredible. The writing just drew me in from day one. I love science fiction and thrillers, and I love, you know, the 80s and 80s movies. So it really kind of was the most perfect combination of things that could have fallen into my lap. So I would definitely love to be back. I definitely would.
Out of all the things in the past year plus, whether it's premieres, parties, receptions, Golden Globes, SAG Awards, whatever, what maybe what moment or what along the way really overwhelmed you? Maybe somebody you'd met or a particular moment that stands out as I ask you this question.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the SAG Awards was my first award show ever. And those are the kinds of things you see on TV, and you watch all these beautiful celebrities, you know, get out of their cars and walk down the red carpet. So it really was kind of this fantasy that I've been thinking about since I was a kid, and now it was a reality. And, you know, then definitely to be there and to be seated in the same room with all these incredible talented actors like Meryl Streep and Viola Davis, you know, for our show to win, especially when we kind of thought that The Crown had it in the bag. I just remember being so floored, and yeah, I think I just like cried that whole night from happiness, because I mean, who gets to say that they've, you know, the first job that they've ever had has gotten so much critical acclaim? It's really incredible.
Now that you have the SAG Awards under your belt, of course, now I'm sure the Emmys coming up, are just going to be old hats? Like,
Definitely not. No, I mean, yeah, the Emmys, it's like, I mean, after the Oscars, you know, it's the award show. So I'm definitely excited and nervous, but mostly excited. And it's a cliche, but it really is such an honor just to be nominated. You know, I'm alongside these incredible actresses that I love and admire. So it's like, it's going to be a good night, whatever happens.
So we will see you there that night. You know, we'll be on the red carpet, so you better not pass us by.
No, I won't. I'll stop by. I'll say.